Hello, everyone. Good evening, and welcome to this webinar. Please, can I get some responses if you can hear me?
Good evening,
Good
sir.
evening.
Good evening.
Okay, all right. So we want to welcome every one of us to this meeting, and I want to briefly apologize for delaying a bit. The reason for this delay was as a result of unforeseen circumstances holding down some of our other co-facilitators who ought to be here. But thanks to Tabe, who has accepted to support. So we will start right away. My name is Samson Emelike. I'm the coordinator for Havron e-learning hub for Africa. And tonight we want to look at a very important subject in our day-to-day activity, which is logistics and supply chain management. It's a webinar we decided to use to launch a very important and robust course on the subject. So what we'll be doing today is just an introduction to what this course is all about. We want to use it to let everyone know what is in the on the table from Havron regarding this subject. And this was particularly born out of our desire to ensure that people who choose this course, that they eventually get satisfaction in the course. We have been intermediating between our participants and other schools who offer this. And a particular one is the one from UNICAF, which is a professional development course, is a certificate course designed for 8 weeks. And some who have registered for the course didn't really express satisfaction with the content. And so we had to fast track our launch of this course. So what we'll be seeing today is just a review of this course, and then see what we are going to benefit from the course, and then see the schedules for the initial launch. Okay, so like we know, this is logistics and supply chain management, and this is coming from Havron e-learning hub for Africa. For Havron, our mission is to bridge the skills gaps for professionals in Africa through online learning programs and career pathways. And we have been doing this, and a lot of people have been coming on board through us. So we felt that there is a huge desire to upskill in these subjects. And so that is why we have taken the pain to go through it and to bring this also. Some of us who have taken logistics and supply chain management courses before will know at the end of this seminar that this is a very robust course, and we have done a good job on it. At the end of the training, that's the full course, every participant will be given or issued a certificate of participation. Okay, so we just want to look at what this course entails. When we launch the full course, each participant will be given a quick reference guide, which is 2 pages. They will be given a self-study guide, that's 91 pages. Then we have a student manual, which is 81 pages. And then we have our PowerPoint slides, which is about 110 slides. And the way we plan to deliver this course is a dual content delivery mode. Number one, participants will have access to Canvas. If you have taken a course from University of Washington, that is the way our learning system will be. And we are going to give access to participants to this course. And all these materials will be loaded there, will be uploaded there. And then that is one part. Then the second part is that we are going to facilitate peer-to-peer learning. And we are doing that via 2 channels. The first channel is a physical facilitation, which will hold physically at our office here in Abuja, Nigeria, for 2 days, because the course is actually designed to last for between 12 to 16 hours. Okay, so the facilitation module for the physical session will hold for 2 days, a Friday afternoon and a Saturday morning till evening, 10 a.m. till 4 p.m. There is also the option of people to choose the online facilitation module, which we will run on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, 8 to 10 p.m. Okay, so these are the avenues that we will be using to facilitate learning. Some of us who have taken University of Washington courses understand that facilitation helps a lot, not only in our learning from the others, but also it helps us to put us on pace with a course. Some people have taken courses where they are left on their own, and then eventually they either forget about the course, and then the course expires on them, or they find themselves using more than required to do the course. So for us, we want to ensure that participants are on pace, and then within 3 days, we are done over with the course, and then certificates will be issued. Now, for the syllabus, it has 13 modules, and the modules are arranged in such a way that it introduces the participants gradually to the course, looking at the overview, specifying what the learning objectives are, and then take a pre-assignment, pre-course assignment, and then pre-course assessment. That is for the module 1. And then for the module 2, that is actually the getting started, when we begin to define terms and terminologies that are often used in logistic and supply chain management. Then we'll look at the regulations and the resources for this, looking at different scenarios. In module 3, we'll be looking at the evolution of the supply chain. How did it come about? Where are we and where are we heading to? Okay, so we'll look at the vertical integration model, we'll look at the virtual integration model, and then we'll look at what's next. And then in module 4, we are looking at the basic supply chain structure. And under this, we have the links in the supply chain. Who are the participants in any supply chain? And then we'll be able to take a look at you as a participant, you designing your own supply chain. There are case studies that we are going to be using. And then at the end, during the peer learning, we will be able to know where we will be missing it, and what we have never been practicing before in supply chain, we'll be able to learn some of those things, the strategies. And then we'll look at what a bullwhip effect is, how it translates from the customer down to the manufacturers. What are the causes of the bullwhip effect, and how can we mitigate them if they are not of importance? And then who are the people who take advantage of this? Okay, so but then in module 5, we are looking at the drivers of supply chain. There are things that drive them to success. we need to look out for those factors. And then we are going to be choosing the right transportation methods. We will X-ray the different transportation methods, and then using certain factors or elements to make the right decision as per the type of transportation methods we need to take. Then we do our connections. Then in module 6, we want to align our supply chain system with business strategy. There are times people have business strategies, and then when it is not aligned with your supply chain does not align with your business strategies, you will see you are going on one side, and then you understand that you are not really moving in the direction of the goals of the business. So we want to be identifying your market, making connections, looking at your role. We analyze the data, take the next steps, and then making further connections. And then in module 7, we will identify some of the supply chain risks. There was a time we developed a course and we focused on managing supply chain risk. Okay, so we'll be looking at those supply chain risks. What are they? And then how do we develop mitigation strategies? Because any organization that will employ a supply chain specialist, they believe that this person should be able to foresee risk to the company or the organization, and then be able to develop strategies that will mitigate such risk. No company wants to see risk and let them run. Okay, so in module 8, we'll be looking at ratios and formulas. We'll be defining benchmarking. And then we'll look at the supply chain operations reference model, the SCORE model. What are they and how do we use them in benchmarking? We look at the balanced scorecard, supply chain management dashboards, further making connections, and then the brief. And then in 9, we will look at troubleshooting supply chain problems. You know, sometimes problems will occur. You need to troubleshoot to find out the root cause. Where is it emanating from before you be able to develop strategies to resolving them. And it's also good to understand the signs of trouble. If someone is sick, if he's suddenly becomes down, it is always there that the signs were there early in the beginning, but were not identified and treated. So is it also in supply chain. When you understand the signs of trouble, then you'll be able to know them when they exhibit, and then see how you can handle them. Then we look at supply chain best practices. And then in module 10, we are going to be sharing supply chain activities, outsourcing, insourcing, offshoring, and reshoring. What are they? What do we do about them? And how do we, when and what time do we engage these things? We look at the third and fourth party logistic providers. Who are they? What are they? Of what importance are they to us as supply chain specialists? Then we look at building partnerships within your supply chain. And then in module 11, we want to see what is important in supply chain strategies that will make them sustainable. Is sustainability a desired element in supply chain? We'll look at that. And then we'll define what is sustainability. We'll look at reducing the impact on the environment. Then 12, we are going to look at lean techniques to supply chain. We are looking at lean 101 and then applying it to the supply chain. So this is the entire module or course syllabus that this course is all about. In the final module, we want to look at the future of supply chain management. What are the top trends? And then we know that connections are still very, very important. Okay, so at this point, I am going to share a pre-course assessment. Is a link. I'm going to share it on the WhatsApp. I'm going to share it, sorry, not on WhatsApp, on this call right now. So permit me to exit this. So let me just pick I'm going to pick the link so that we all can participate in this assessment, and then you will see your scores. It's not going to take us more than 3 minutes. There are just 10 questions. So just give me a minute to share this. Okay, so I'm going ahead to share this now. So the link is there. You can simply click that. And then once you are done, I'm going to also show the results. I wanted to grade it, otherwise I would have done it here, would have done the poll right inside this meeting, but I wanted everyone to see their scores. So what we have done is, as soon as you are done, you can click to view your score. And then in, let's say in the next, let's say we are giving ourselves 5 minutes, okay? When it is 8:28, we'll be back. So in the time being, if you have questions, you can ask before we come back. And then once we come back, we are going to look into the module 1 and module 2 of this course. Okay, so let's take time to do that. If you are having a problem assessing that, please let me know your responses so that so far we have received 19 responses, and it's quite interesting. All right, so we'll leave it there. Others can still go ahead and attempt. You all have seen your scores. A good number of you got 100%, and others 90, 70. You all know your respective scores. Now, those who score 100 is fine. There are still more to what we'll be learning. On the periphery, these are basically some of the things that we know supply chain system to be. And by the time we go deep into it, you discover more exciting topics. Okay, so and also we've also provided the right answers. Those ones that you got right, it's just a score for you. The ones you didn't get correctly, you will see the correct answers. Okay, so we'll just take time to go through the two, module 1 and module 2, so that we'll see what the beginning of the course is like. So these are just the questions, and then these are the answers, which we also provided to every one of the participants. Okay. So it looks like some people think we are just answering them here. No, there is a link to it that Emmanuel, you need to click the link, and then it will take you to the quiz. We are not answering we're not taking the answers in the chat, so that, okay, good. Tabe has pasted that. You can follow that link on the chat, and then it takes you to the quiz where you can now respond to them, and then it will grade you automatically. Okay, so now let's look at module 1. Like we showed in our post, the learning objectives will include to define what a supply chain management and logistics is. And this was briefly done in that quiz. Explain the vertical integration and virtual integration models We will understand the stages in the basic supply chain flow. We will identify participants in the supply chain. We will recognize supply chain drivers and ways to optimize them, and then align supply chain strategy with business strategy. Then for 2, we will determine what metrics to track and how to benchmark the related data. We all know that if we need to do anything, we need to develop some metrics that will assess our progress, whether we are heading the right way or not. Then we'll troubleshoot basic supply chain problems. This learning objectives number 2. Then we'll identify ways to develop your supply chain, like using a third-party logistics, insourcing processes, developing sustainable and eco-friendly strategies, and so on and so forth. Then let's look at the module 2. We want to define the terms. What is logistics? It's that part of supply chain management that revolves around planning, implementing, controlling the efficient, effective forward and reverse flow and storage of goods, services, and related information between the point of origin and the point of consumption, and for the key reason of meeting customers' requirements. It is an integral function which coordinates and optimizes all logistics activities, talking about the management, and it integrates logistic activities with other functions like marketing, sales, manufacturing, finance, information, and for a health intervention, either in malaria, reproductive health, HIV, COVID-19. The logistics incorporates treatment, incorporates the other aspects of the program. So, and we know that supply chain does not just relate to these big areas. It happens right even at homes. We meet them everywhere we go. So what then is supply chain management? Supply chain management encompasses the planning and the management of all activities that are involved in sourcing, procurement, conversion, and all logistic management activities. Just like the word, if you look at supply chain management, there are keywords there. Is a supply, talking about the flow. Then is a chain. It means there are separate entities joined together at some point or at some nodules. And then the management talks about the holistic coordination of the different elements that are coming together to form the chain. And the main purpose is to ensure the flow of goods and services. Okay, so it's important to note that it includes coordination and collaboration. Supply chain does not work in isolation. At one point, you need the services of the other for your system to complete. So it's important to also know those channel partners. And they can be suppliers, they can be intermediaries, they can be third-party service providers. I was explaining to some people, and I say, you see some courier services outside Nigeria, for instance. You have never heard of them. But when you buy something, either from Amazon or any of these online stores, they will tell you the thing is moving by so and so courier. You have never seen them. But eventually, it will arrive to your doorstep. And by the time it's arriving, you will see a different person delivering it. That different person is not a staff per se of the real organization that took up that service. So they are using third-party service providers. So it's important to identify this as one of the partners in the supply chain. So it integrates supply and demand management. Those of us who are very conversant with supply chain, you will understand that you need to strike a demand, a balance between demand and supply. At any point in time, when there is imbalance, if there is excess supply compared to your projected demand, you stand the risk of those things getting spoiled if they are perishable goods or if they are goods with expiry dates. And then when you get less supply than the demands, you get stockouts. Okay, so there has to be that that balance. You always look forward to striking that balance. Now, the supply chain management involves these 4 key services: the inbound and outbound logistics, then the operations, the sales and marketing, and then the customer service. The inbound is talking about what is coming into you as an organization, as a business, and then the outbounds are those things that you are taking away. If you are a manufacturer, you have the inbound. You need the raw materials and other things that you need. And then once you have done that, you can ship them out. And then there are some organizations that might have different departments. And then in this same organization, the inbound may be an outbound for another unit or within the same organization, okay? And then the operations are the things that coordinate every workings. We have the sales and marketing to generate demand, to create awareness. And then the customer service. You see some people, they will tell you, oh, I will let the sales team know. All I am interested is, are you happy? What are the feedbacks we are getting from you? And we'll be able to let the sales team to know about it, all in the bid of making sure that the customer is satisfied. Now let's look at very key role of logistics. We know that logistics is the flow of goods from one point to the other. And basically, there are 2 types. Now, I'm not talking about the inbounds and outbounds, but I'm talking about the flow. You have the direct logistics, and then you have the reverse. So in each of these, we have 6 rights to meet. Although some schools have developed a 7th right, but generally people talk about 6 rights. And that 6 rights includes: 1, the product that you are producing is the right one. 2, that product has to be conveyed at the right place. Somebody, you can imagine, let's take a global picture of vaccines, COVID-19 vaccines. And then they are shipped from India, for instance, and it's supposed to be landing in Nigeria. And then somewhere along the line, it found its place. It's in Niger. Probably the people who were reading it didn't read. Maybe something happened and they saw Niger instead of Nigeria. It's a wrong thing. And you can imagine what that cost will be, that you have taken the right product to the wrong place. Then it should arrive at the right time. Right now, if you look at the COVID-19 vaccine supplies, you will realize that at the right time is a critical factor that is not being met right now. There are some places where they need it, but it's not getting there at the time they need it. Okay. The next one is the right quantity. Again, in this current pandemic, some organizations, some countries that require certain quantity are not getting it. And we have been hearing that some, especially the African countries, are not giving, there is an unequitable distribution of the vaccines. Then in the condition, right condition, the right condition is also applicable to this COVID-19, for instance. Some countries receive COVID-19 vaccines when it's about 2 months to expire. You know, well, that they may say it's still the right condition. The other time, your vaccines may become turbid when they are supposed to be clear. Okay, so if it is not arriving in the right condition, it does not meet the 6 or one of the 6 rights of logistics. And then it must arrive at the right cost. The fact that you need a product does not mean that they should behead you with costs. Okay, so these are the 6 rights of logistics. Now we know that logistics is not just for products. It can also apply to services. The supply chain applies to any business or organization. When we conduct physical training, especially, we use a restaurant as a key example of a supply chain or logistics. You know, you will see a client or a customer that arrives and places the order. Then another customer comes, he's waiting for a waiter to attend to him. He may stay there, nobody attends to him, he goes. So when you place your order, the order is taken to the kitchen, it is prepared and brought. You can imagine if you requested for fried rice and they eventually bring jollof rice, that has not met one of the 6 rights of logistics, okay? And the customer will not be satisfied. So whatever business or organization that you can think of, whether they deliver a product or a service, there is logistics going on in that firm. Now, when we talk about the regulations and resources, there are rules. For instance, when you want to bring in, assuming, I think there was a time that condom was very scarce, not only in Nigeria. I think then the organization that manufactures for USAID, Global Fund, and something happened with that product, and also isoniazid. And then people may take advantage of this to begin to make importation without knowing that there are regulations guiding those things. Some of them, you will see them lying in the at the customs warehouses. Eventually, they will either get bad or spoil. Why? Because they do not understand the rules that are involved. So there are customs and duty requirements. There are transportation regulations, such as how many hours per day or week that a truck driver can drive. And then this also takes into account what you look at in terms of your lead time. Then we look at the labeling and handling of hazardous goods. The way a computer accessory will be labeled is different from the way hydrochloric acid will be labeled. And their modes of transportation also will be different. Then tracking and traceability of products like pharmaceuticals and restricted chemicals. There are ways. There are some of them that require intrinsic tracking. You know, you need to be on your toes to do that. Food handling and refrigeration requirements. The way you would transport paracetamol is different from the way you would transport a vaccine. So these are handling and refrigeration requirements. Then you also talk about security requirements. So this is a reference that we have, and it's also one of the things that we'll be sharing in the full course. This is tabling the organization, the region that they operate, their website. Okay, so these are different organizations that regulate activities of supply chain. So that is in a nutshell what we have for today. And we want to pause here to entertain questions regarding the course. If there be things that you need further clarification on, so you go ahead and then ask. I want to thank you all for your time and your audience. So thanks. If you have questions, you can either type it or raise your hand, and then we will call on you to speak. So thanks once again.
Yes, go on, please, sir.
Okay. Yeah, good evening, everybody. Hello?
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much. I want to really appreciate the presenter. Thank you for that wonderful work. Please, the question I want to ask, because I wasn't really following the last phase of your presentation, talking about the vertical integration model. So I don't know if you can throw more light on it, please.
No, the vertical integration is not part of what we have done today. We are stopping at module 2.
Okay. Yes. Okay. I get it now. Okay, it's fine. All right. Okay, it's fine.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, sorry. Thank you very much for that wonderful presentation. I did start on time, but I took the pre-assessment. I want to know, when you say the next lecture will be?
Okay, let me just go back to that slide where we Okay, so this is what we have. This is actually the very first time that we are launching this. And so the first batch is going to kick off on 1st November. And prior to this, anyway, participants are going to have access to the course portal. They can log in and then assess the course. But during the facilitation, just like this, we are coming to discuss together as peers. And people can choose to do so either on face-to-face, which is at our office in Abuja, excuse me, or they participate online. Just the way we are discussing now, this is our intent, that after reading, we'll come together and discuss. For the online, it's going to be 2 hours for the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd November. That's Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, just as we did now. But however, it's going to be longer than now because this webinar is just 1 hour. But during that discussion is 2 hours. And then for the face-to-face, it's going to last more because of not any key reason, but just we know when we come together, the time to sit down, the time to do ask questions and so on and so forth. So we have slated 4 to 6 and then 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Saturday. And then that will end the course. So did I answer your question, please?
Okay, so what we are doing now is online facilitation. That's what
No,
we're
yes,
what we
yes.
did today.
What we have just done right now is a brief introduction of the course to participants. So what we'll be doing in the online facilitation will be more interactive.
Okay.
It will be more interactive, not somebody coming to read over.
Okay.
You would have read, and then the facilitators are here.
Okay.
We are bringing out questions to discuss. Okay. Whatever participant read and didn't understand and wants us to throw more light, we discuss it.
Okay. So you will give us a link for us to get the course, the full course.
Yes. Now for the full course, you know, the full course is going to be for those who are moving ahead with the paid version. You will have access to it. You can sign in, and then all the content are there for you. And then we will come, we will be discussing just like we try to explain. We'll just discuss. Okay, somebody has asked for the cost in France.
Yes, it says seed launch.
Yes, we are going to let everyone know the value. Once we share, we have your emails. We will be sharing the link to the registration site via emails again to each and every one. And then we'll also let you know the cost in USD, so you can do the, and then for those of us coming from our Cameroonian counterparts, we'll let you know the CFA value. Okay, yes, somebody else has asked, he thinks that the cost will be an augmentation for the, yes, the one for UNICAF. Yes, for those of our participants who registered for the UNICAF course, yes, what we are going to do is we are going to do the facilitation as we have discussed, but we will not give you access to the learning platform. We'll just discuss, and then just the way we feel we can discuss, throw more light on some key things. But the course materials, like we identified, all those things, they will be at a, where is it? Okay, yeah, just here, all these quick reference guides, self-study guide, and so on and so forth. You know, it's unfortunate that the course from UNICAF didn't meet a lot of people's expectation, and we do not have access to it. But when we heard this, we were a bit concerned. And so we had to take the pain to look through. If we have access to UNICAF course, we pay for it. All the people that are going to support, for instance, the HRM and the Human Resource Management course, we pay for our staff, just the way you pay. We paid for him to gain access. You see? So for this one, we decided that we need to increase your satisfaction by introducing you to a broader perspective of the supply chain management. But if you want to have the full package, yes, we have decided to give a lot of concession to those who want to have the package. It's painful to us, but then we want to see what we can do. So just to answer your question, we are going to discuss, like we said, we are going to discuss, but then the full contents, like giving you the handouts, the manual, the PowerPoint slides, And we stated that in the email that we sent out. It's not going to be just like that. So we can discuss further. Those of us who are taking the UNICAF course, we can discuss further on our platform to see how we can move forward with this.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, somebody is asking for certificate. Yes, we usually issue certificates in all our courses. We'll issue one. And then there are people who may say, okay, they want other schools. For instance, somebody may say, I want from UNICAF. If you want from UNICAF, we have a package that will get you enrolled into the UNICAF own. UNICAF fee is 17,000 Naira. And for a start, we are launching this one, 15,000. So you see that that is about 32,000. But we are really going to make a lot of concession so that if you want 2 certificates, the dual certificates is going to be a lot cheaper for you. Okay, we are going to discuss that. When we are sending out the registration details, we'll give that option for you. Either you are going solo with us or you are going for the 2. Like somebody, I was explaining to somebody, if you are going for us, just with this course, like we say, it's more robust. It's just going to give you all that will keep you keep you well equipped and ready to launch out in supply chain, more logistics and supply chain. But for the UNICAF own, what the UNICAF will do is probably the certificate that this is coming from UNICAF. But the skill, the knowledge that you need will definitely come from the one we offer at Havron. Okay, so we will also be sharing this. Already it's on our YouTube. It should be on our YouTube channel, although I had some challenges launching that. So I don't know if it really scaled through or the one on Facebook. However, we are recording this, like you know, and then we'll be sharing that as a link to our YouTube channel so that everyone can have that. Okay, so somebody wanted me to speak again regarding the part of the course for the certificate from UNICAF. Now, what we say is people know that there is a logistic and supply chain management come from UNICAF, and UNICAF being a bigger organization, people will want to maybe show a certificate coming from that university. That's great. It's our partner, and we get participants onto their courses. What we want to let you know is if you want to have a certificate from UNICAF for logistics and supply chain management, we will enroll you into that and then enroll you into this one also. So for the 2 of them in the Nigerian currency is 17,000 plus 15,000, which is 32,000. However, we are going to make a concession for people in that category who would want to take the 2 courses to get the 2 certificates. Yes, we are thinking about making it 10,000. So 10,000 here and 17,000, that's 27,000, so that you will have the full package of the Havron course, and then you also have the certificate from UNICAF. So that's what I try to explain. I hope I'm able to clarify that question, please. Okay, so thank you so much, everyone, for your time again and your presence. We'll be sharing out a registration link shortly, likely tomorrow, and then inviting you all to register and participate. If you have any issue, please, you can also send us a mail at support@havron360.org. It is there on the screen. Okay, sorry, I think this was sent as a personal message. So let me send it to everyone. Okay, support@havron360.org, and then we will respond to your questions and other concerns. So thanks so much, everyone. God bless you till we see again. And then for the UNICAF participant, we'll still see you in the forum. God bless you all.
Bless you too. Thank you.